What's up, what's up, what's up, you beautiful and sexy you? You are tuned in to Get What You Want with host Jessica Brothers. Sharing these secrets to feeling powerful, healthy, and ageless so you can stop that cycle you're in and break free to live the incredible quality of life you deserve. Welcome to the Get What You Want podcast. This episode is sponsored by freehealthybook.com. If you would like to know why you feel tired, unmotivated, and can't lose that last weight, and how to start feeling powerful, healthy, and ageless, then go to freehealthybook.com. What's up, what's up, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Get What You Want podcast. I have an amazing guest today. Her name is Patty Blakesley. She is a powerhouse. And today's topic on the Get What You Want podcast is we're going to do a deep exploration on how to get what you want. Tune in. Here we go. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Get What You Want podcast. I'm so excited. We have Patty Blakesley here with us today. Patty is just... We met in our community at a conference in Chicago, and she ended up giving a book to my son that her mother wrote because we grew up very close. I grew up in Massachusetts, and she was in Martha's Vineyard, so we kind of definitely bonded over that. And the book that her mom wrote was a book from a clam on Martha's Vineyard. And Patty, she is warm, she is amazing, she is a beautiful soul, and she's intelligent, she's a powerhouse. So just a little bit about her. First, Patty, welcome to the Get What You Want podcast. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate your kind words.
Oh, absolutely. So let's learn a little bit more about Patty before we get into some conversation here. Patty is a PT and PTB facilitator, as well as an author and a content creation editor. She owns and operates Inner Business Coaching. As a motivational and accountability coach, she accelerates her clients' results with individualized coaching plans. So important. These plans accelerate her clients' goal achievements. As needed, these plans also eliminate or reduce the barriers and beliefs that limit financial and personal success. Oh my gosh. And we have a lot of blind spots to those too. So having a coach is so important. A health beyond belief trained practitioner of ancestral clearing. Wow. Patty loves, I love that. I'm going to dive into that. Patty loves helping individuals reduce emotional or physical distress. A self-described joy catalyst, Patty is a mom, sister, aunt, and great aunt to her family members who motivate her to make the world a better place. She is and I love this, she is a practicing martial artist and instructor of, oh gosh, let me Matsubayashi, right? Ryu?
Yep.
Matsubayashi,
Matsubayashi Ryu
karate. I should know how to do this. She is a 4th degree black belt, currently training for her 5th degree promotion next June.
Yes.
Wow, Patty, I want to be there. I want to see that. Please.
That would be awesome.
Yes, living in Illinois, she enjoys the change of seasons and the natural beauty which surrounds her. Oh my gosh, everyone, please welcome Patty Blakesley, the powerhouse, to the Get What You Want podcast. Talk about getting what you want. I mean, this is amazing. Patty, you are amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I don't think of myself in that way. I just feel like I do what I believe I need to do. And one of the things, I started karate when my son was in 8th grade, and he started with me, and he ended up going on his own path, which was computers. And I just kept going because I realized for the first time that I was taking care of myself. Because as moms and daughters, I was in that sandwich generation where I had the pressure of helping my mom as she was getting more infirm and, helping my son grow up. And it was like, when was me? You
Yeah,
know, and I found my time. I found I could be me practicing karate, and it really blossomed into a whole spiritual, energetic, and physical practice.
absolutely. I can relate because martial arts for me, I found martial arts when I was at my very bottom, like
Mm,
very bottom. And I went there because I wanted to fight. I did.
mm,
But as you know, what I found was a completely different discipline for life.
mm.
And I am so grateful. And I still practice to this day. My practice now is different than it was back then. I started with Taekwondo back then, but I found a love uh, for Muay Thai.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I absolutely love it. So I am going for your fifth degree. That is awesome, Patty. And we're not going to talk about your age, but I'll tell you right now, you are watching this on a platform where you can see video.
Hmm.
I know how old Patty is. She does not even come close to looking her age. She is youthful. She is inspirational. You are a true powerhouse, Patty. So thank you for being a leader in that.
Well, thank you so much for having this podcast. And, I think you and I share the same mission. It's to help everyone become their best self.
That couldn't be more true. Absolutely. We both definitely share that passion.
Mhm.
For me, it was on a health journey of being really sick, being very depressed, never actually attempted suicide, but had many thoughts about it.
Mm.
Didn't, negative self-image. I was into drugs for a little bit, just down in a very dark place, and not really loving life. And I know there's people out there that feel that way. But here I am today, and I have an absolute love for life. I love who I am. I'm full of energy. I'm so healthy. And I really want to impact the world on such a big scale. Like, I have huge dreams. And if I can come from such a dark place like that to where I am today, everyone can. And I want that for
Absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. I know one of my first coaches said to me, "You know what you do, Patty?" And I go, "No," because, I don't know necessarily what I do. That's what's so great about coaches. They hold up mirrors for you to see who you are. And she said, "You help people understand what they want, claim it, and know they can achieve it."
Mm,
And that is powerful. And I love that you have this mission, Jessica. It will powerhouse yourself, power you there, right? And hopefully help a lot of people. That is really all I'm here to do, is help people realize that they can create the life they want. They can change their beliefs. We
mhm.
don't have to believe everything our brain tells us,
That's so
right?
true. Actually, the opposite in most cases.
Depending on how you're raised, Um, but I feel very, very fortunate that I was able to find that inner peace, that inner joy,
Mm,
and really, I think it was nature that really I grew up on a farm, and, my home life was not so good. My dad was an alcoholic, and at times my mother was suicidal herself.
mm.
And, the thing that saved me was, the puppies and the horse and just being able to be in nature and listen to birds and see the Milky Way. And it was just what I noticed and what saved me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And nature is a huge part of bringing us back to our happy place, right?
Mhm.
And I think more than ever, people are very confused about their health, what to do, or confused on what they want in life. They don't have that clarity, that direction. And so, yeah, what you're doing for people is you're giving them their life back, Patty, by helping them understand the the straight lines in that chaos that's in their head. Because our brains, they take over. and we don't believe in ourselves, or we have these stories as well.
Well, one of the things I do when you said PT and PTB, that stands for passion test. So the passion test is not quote a test. It's a process to help people find what they most connect with, what they most love to do. And oftentimes that will lead someone out of that morass, that
Mhm.
feeling about, I don't know what to do next. Because when you know what your passions are, like one of my passions obviously is karate, but another passion is writing. I just finished my book, Positive Words of Influence, because
Nice.
what we say to ourselves actually creates neurobiological reactions in our body. And it's very
Yes.
important to say what we want in a positive frame of reference.
Yes. That is so true. Our words are very powerful, very
Mhm.
powerful. There's a study done by Dr. Lipton that really just brought so much enlightenment, or talk, Jessica, enlightenment. How about clarity? A lot of clarity to some things for me, because I study, cellular health and genetic expression, human biology on that level. And he did a study about how cells become what their environment is.
Yep.
And then he said, well, what is that environment? And you talk about words creating these biochemical reactions in our body. But our words also create a vibration too, that create an environment for ourselves. And there was another study done about words on water. When you scream at water under a microscope, what does it look like? Or when you sing beautiful words to a water underneath a microscope, what does it look like? And again, those vibrations.
Dr. Emoto's work.
There you go. Yes, yes,
He froze the water, and it's
yes,
crystals that, he was able to photograph. And when they, did peace and love, those crystals were beautiful. And when they
yeah,
screamed and said hate and bad words, then the crystals were all mixed up and not pretty. It
yes.
it's powerful,
Very
powerful.
powerful. And if words create a vibration like that, or a picture like that in water, and we're made up over 70% water,
Water. Yep.
how do words affect us, right?
Well, there's a lot about disease, instead of thinking that it's genetically predispositioned. Bruce Lipton, when I heard him talk about the fact that it's only 7 to 8% of any disease, it's really definitely from the genes. It's more what the genes were exposed to. And people always are ranting and raving about cancer. And I've been a household hazardous waste management person. All these products people are using in their home that are toxic. Like you can
Mm,
buy a little bottle of something at the store and use it to clean, but if it's in a 55-gallon drum, there's a hazard symbol on it.
mm.
So it's
It's so
very,
true.
very important to realize what we're doing to trigger dis-ease.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly how I say it too. And it's not only the toxins we put in our body and the toxins we put on our skin, but it's also the toxins in our environment. Whatever, yes, yes. And I was just gonna say that's audible, that's visual, taste, things we touch, and just even in our surrounding environment, it's all takes away from our health or adds to it as well. It creates our result, it creates our reality. And like you said, we are the creators of our world. We create what we want. And I think too much we give up our power in doing that because we're unaware.
I agree. The power is in the present moment. And
Mm,
what are we focusing on in the present moment? You know, I'm a big follower of Dr. Bruce Lipton, but also Dr. Joe Dispenza.
yes.
And I've just been in a book group. We reread Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And, we all have 60 to 70,000 thoughts every day. And most of them are the same ones. And if we want to change our life, we have to change our thinking. We
Yes.
have to change our thoughts. And
Yes.
like your emphasis on health is so valuable because a lot of people don't realize that it is at a cellular level.
Yes, it is. And yes, I'm familiar with both of them. And I love the fact that you're bringing that up about if you want to change your life, you have to change your thoughts. Now, if you're doing the same thing every single day, your thoughts aren't going to change because your thoughts are related to the things you're on autopilot and you're
Yes.
going to have
And
the same thoughts.
you're not you're not aware of the influence that your thought might have. And when I coach people, what I find is they're so focused on what's happened in the past that
Mm,
they have difficulty envisioning a different future. But
right.
that different future is what they want.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, I've had, drag down arguments with some of my clients, and it takes a while to get them to change their perspective. And what I love best is when they catch me saying something that they can pounce on. Like if I say something that doesn't sound positive to them, they like, wait a minute. And I love that because what that means is they've gotten it.
Yes, absolutely. They're becoming more aware because at first it's the awareness that you're even doing it, right? I think that's the hardest part, getting out of that trance. And I love that you talk about the power of now, because the power of now really is your time of creation. Uh,
Absolutely.
the power of now, your thoughts now, your feelings now, what you want right now, that is your creation for your future. And if you keep thinking about your past, you're going to keep reinventing your past into your now, into your future. And if you don't want the same thing to happen over and over again, stop thinking about the same thing over and over again. You got to have that change. And when you come to that moment, when you're present, and for me, how I started was I just started like, oh, here's my desk and I'm going to feel my desk. And here's my chair and it's yellow. I'm going to feel my chair. And it would bring me into now. Like how could I get into the now without being in my head and like recognizing things around me? And then for me, it was putting myself into a good state, start saying things I love. Oh, I love the feeling of my wall here. I appreciate the fact that this color is a lighter gray and not a darker gray, making my apartment look dark. I mean, just whatever it is. And that kept me in the now more and more and more. And the more I did that, the more aware I become, right? So how would you coach a client to kind of get into that power now, be more aware? What would be the starting steps?
Well, depending on what they're focusing on, if we pick a topic, let's say finances, like I've never had enough money, there's never enough money, I can never get ahead. And I like, okay, let's just repeat that back. If you say that to yourself, what are you going to notice? What are you going to be inspired to change?
Mhm.
It's that awareness is the first key to change.
Yes.
And I always say to my clients that where you are now, if it's uncomfortable, it's because of decisions you've made in the past. And some of
Mhm.
them were unconscious. You didn't
Mhm.
really realize you were making those, but
Mhm.
everything we do, whether we choose it consciously or we don't, creates our reality. But if you want to change your future and make it something better and more to your liking, then you have to make different choices. And just because the past has been a certain way does not mean the future has to be that same way. And, if you say that enough times, people start to question it themselves. But also, what I always start all my coaching with, what's been good? What's been
Mhm.
a win? Because what we appreciate appreciates.
Yes.
And it's very powerful when you get in the habit. Like I have one client who now has to write it down every week because he wasn't ever noticing it before. And it's only by, me asking him and he realizing it in the discussion and then writing it down so he can look at it because that helps encode it into his brain.
Mm.
It's some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners, some people are kinesthetic, and we're all combinations.
Yes.
So sometimes you have to figure out, I do anyway, my clients, what's their mode? What will help them the most? If
Mm,
I text them and tell them what a wonderful person they are every day, does that help them? Some
yeah.
people need that until they can do it to themselves, because we are enough. That's another thing. We are all enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to feel that we're not enough is only going to lead us to a place we don't want to be.
Yeah, it creates that momentum of that negative thought pattern, right?
Mm.
If you start there, you're going to keep going there, and you're going to fall down that rabbit hole. So start with something good. And I love that you do that with your clients. You start with a win, you start with appreciation, because that's a momentum that starts building to go in that direction, that path. Absolutely. And that's why words are so powerful. I mean,
Absolutely.
especially anytime you say I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
I am.
That creates that, you were talking about vibration. If you look at almost all the words for deities through all the cultures and all the centuries, they have that ah sound in them.
Mm.
And I am is very powerful. Very
Yeah.
powerful.
Because as humans, we always want to prove ourselves to be right. We always want to be right. So if we say something, we're going to seek it out. It's what we
Right.
do. So if you say you're never going to make enough money, you're going to seek that out, and you'll be like, see, I told you so. I didn't make enough money again. But what happens if you switch the words around and say, I'm going to make a lot of money? And you truly believe that too. That's a thing. You can't just say it, right? You have to
Right.
believe it as well.
You have to get an emotional attachment, because it's the emotions that drive the actions and the thoughts. So, have you ever heard of Noah St. John, who talks about afformations as opposed to affirmations?
No, I love that. Affirmations.
So
Ah,
we can all say affirmations, I'm rich, I'm beautiful, and your unconscious goes, no, you're not, but what he uses is a question, because your brain wants to answer the question. So, how did my bank balance continue to grow? Suddenly, the brain goes, growing bank balance. Perhaps you could do this. It starts an unconscious answering of that question that leads to actual change. Like, I had one client, she literally took this, it's a book called The Little Book of Affirmation. She read it and she created a 3-ring binder, and every day she asked these questions.
wow.
She just loved it so much, and it changed her whole life by just getting into that habit. Like, how can I make my relationship better? How
Mm.
can I improve, or not how can I, how did I? Because you want to put it in the tense where it's already occurred.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I love that, Patty. How did I? Wow. I really love that. That's
Like,
something
how did
new.
I impact millions of people? I mean, you can say that to yourself, Jessica, and your podcast can get more and more people coming to it, because your brain is now going to figure out, how did she do it?
That is something new I've never heard, Patty. And I really love that. And I am going to adopt that.
Well, get the
So
little book. It's very,
this is my affirmation. How did I adopt the affirmations? No, I'll do better on that. But yes,
how
yeah.
did adopting affirmations power my
There
progress?
we go. Okay. Okay. Thank you for the starter. Yes. Yes. I love that. Oh my gosh, everyone listening right now, take this advice, because it's so true. I started out my self-value and affirmations in the mirror saying I am you know, this, I am this, I am this, to the point where it felt really funny. It felt really fake. It felt like I was lying to myself. I couldn't even look at myself in the eyes in the mirror. And over time, it got better and better and better. But I like your approach with that question.
Well, Louise Hay is one of my mentors, and she started a lot of that mirror work. And so I've taught mirror work in workshops, and I saw people's resistance, like they couldn't look at themselves in the mirror and say, I am beautiful, I love you. They could say, I like your eyes, or they could like, the general shape of their face or something. But I saw that resistance, it's like, I can't say I'm wildly wonderful when inside I feel like not.
Yeah.
So by asking those questions, and it is a reframing, like, how did I grow my business so well? How did I become more vital, more lively? You can just play with the questions.
I can feel the power in it already. I really can.
Mhm.
That is beautiful, Patty. That is one of probably the biggest nuggets dropped on my podcast yet.
Well, I'm all about dropping those little nuggets, because
Yeah.
it's always the little things
Mm-hmm.
that do it for someone. We can all hear all this stuff all the time. You can hear it till you just kind of tired. If I hear one more time about putting on the air, the air thing in the airport so you can help the other person because you got to take care of yourself. It's true. And I like it, but I'm sick of hearing that. Let's come up with something new.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about this, how you weren't taking care of yourself until you started doing karate with your son at 8 years old. And would you say that, I mean, I already know the answer, but how did it really shift your life? Like, let's give the audience inspiration of why they should be putting themselves first, why they should be doing things for themselves.
Well, I found that when I was taking care of myself, then I didn't resent it if my mother called up and asked me to do something.
Mm.
When I was taking care of myself, I was a happier person. Let's just admit it. We have conflicting circuits in our brain, and the pro-social one is happier. It reduces our inflammation. It increases our immunity. And when we're in that type of mindset, we feel better. We have greater well-being. And that's when we can do more, and it's not draining. How
Yes.
many people are exhausted at the end of the day after they've been to work or taken their kids to soccer and ice skating or hockey, whatever, and you get home and you just want to collapse because the energy has drained out of you?
So true.
And I found, and I don't know, this is a grace, I think, from, the universe. When I most didn't want to go and train, I forced myself to go.
Oh, yes.
Because I guess we all know this on one level. We have to get out of what's comfortable to grow.
Yes, we do. Yes, we absolutely do. That discomfort is that little bit of stress that helps us grow stronger.
Mhm.
And that little bit of stress, I mean, in every aspect of our life, we need a little bit of stress. It's why when you work out, you put that little bit of stress on your muscles, it grows stronger. When you eat and you put that little bit of stress on, and of course you can overeat and overtrain and cause damage, but when you eat the right amount, you put that little bit of stress on your metabolism and it becomes stronger. When you don't feel like going somewhere and you force yourself to do it, you add that little bit of stress to you and you grow. And I found, Patty, on those days that I didn't want to go to the gym, or when I was teaching classes, workout classes,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to teach, when I showed up anyways, those were some of my best days in the gym. right?
Absolutely. And that builds that other muscle of do it anyway, even when you don't feel like doing it, because you know there'll be a reward.
Yes, yes. And
And
there's,
but
go
it
ahead.
takes, I was just going to say, it does take time. And, I think that for anyone out there that's like, but it's hard and I can't do it, it's just like, okay,
It's
so it's
hard.
hard. You still can do it.
Yeah, right, right. It may be hard, but if you say you can't do it, then you won't. And you'll be right. But if it's hard and you can do it and you're willing to do it, then you will. And then, yeah, it's still hard either way, but you did it. And I think there's a difference between forcing yourself to do something that has a huge benefit to your life and a reward, other than, forcing to do something that really doesn't have a benefit, something that really isn't going to reward you too.
That's why I love doing ancestral clearing.
So let's talk about that.
So I've done this with my clients, and sometimes in their life, and sometimes in a life that was probably an ancestor, there was a situation or an experience that was really bothersome, threatening. And when they're able to give a voice to that version of themselves that was scared or, feeling discomfort, that it clears the resistance to do things. So I just was talking to one of my dearest friends. She is a songwriter, and she was having trouble writing this song. Like, she knew the title, but the words were not flowing. So we did ancestral clearing, and she remembered an experience of being an opera singer. This was not her life. This was somebody else's life. She remembered the experience of being an opera singer and having a jealous lover kill her.
Wow.
And she said today, because it's the first time I've talked to her since we did that clearing, that after she did that ancestral clearing with me, she sat down and she wrote, oh my God, the most beautiful song about her father as he aged and was dying. The title of the song is Always Daddy's Little Girl.
Wow.
But until she had that ancestral memory or whatever, I don't know what it is, but it came to her and she was able to express what that opera singer was feeling, which is, pretty bad. When you're dying, you have pretty bad things that you're saying. Once she was able to express it, that whole block about writing her lyrics dissipated.
Wow, that is so powerful, Patty. As you were talking about that, I just remembered something that when I went to a retreat and we did something about previous lives or ancestral stuff, and they put us, I was laying down and I went into this story where I saw myself, and the story kind of played out in front of me. And I'll have to talk to you about it later, but I just remembered it again. This was probably about 3 years ago that this happened, maybe 4 years ago now. And I had forgotten all about that, but it was, I went to this retreat where they brought me back to a past life to help me clear blocks in my life today. And I had forgotten all about that. And you talking about that, it triggered that memory of that story. I'm like, oh my gosh, because now I'm looking at things in my life today, like, wow, like that makes so much sense. Oh, so thank you for that. Hopefully anyone else listening, they got some kind of like epiphany or something out of that as well. But yes, powerful. I mean, that's really, really powerful.
I can understand a lot about the brain and the words, but when we get into ancestral clearing, and my mentor is John Newton, he was a Hollywood leading man, and he left it all to do this work. And he doesn't do any advertising, no marketing. It's all word of mouth. And every month he does a free call, and there'll be people from 140 different countries. And it is fascinating. And all I can say is this is the universe, the creator, the God of your understanding at work.
Yes. Yes. I completely
And
agree.
it's a power that we can trust and we
Mhm.
can use in the quantum world of physics and quantum chemistry or whatever.
Yes.
Quantum power is the
Yes.
word I'm going to use.
I love it.
We can all tap into this, but we have to have that, awareness once again, and knowledge and experience.
Completely agree, Patty. You are a much deeper woman than I knew. And I love this conversation because you are just checking all my boxes, girl. I'm like,
Well,
yes.
we didn't have that long to get together there.
I
at that
know.
business.
I know. We have so much more to talk about. We connect so much more in so many ways. I really hope that people listening to this right now, that there are a lot of, light bulbs going off in their head, or a lot of dots being connected, because this is really powerful stuff. More people need to realize how important awareness is, because that is the starting step. Being more self-aware, being more in the moment. That is where you're going to find your power, your happiness, who you are, and when I say your power, your control over you, your clarity in you, who you are, your ability to be in control of your thoughts and your feelings, more than being on autopilot and having all those memories, those same thoughts go in your head over and over again that make us feel yucky, right? They make us feel yucky most of the time.
Well, it's the difference between reacting and responding.
Yes, love it.
And there's a gap there, and there's just so much that people can do once they're aware of the fact that they can do it. But who teaches this? When you're a little kid, they might ask you what you want to be when you grow up, and everybody always goes to career. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a firefighter. And I have this one friend, and she was a principal, and she goes, no, I don't care what you want to do. I want to know what kind of person you're going to be.
Love it. Yes.
And
yes.
that, we are all, wired in different ways by the community and the society and the family and everything, but self-compassion, self-inquiry go hand in hand with self-awareness.
Yes.
So ask yourself questions. Why am I putting up with this garbage at this job? Maybe there's another job out there. Why am I not taking care of my body? Which reminds me, I have someone to call that I like very much. And she smokes and she knows it's bad. And we're going to do an ancestral clearing because there's something there that's keeping her doing that pattern over and over again, even though she knows up here. But, we talked about emotions are often unconscious, what we feel. If we don't ask, why are we feeling that way?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I've learned that our emotions are a direct correlation of the quality of our thoughts. If you don't feel good, your thoughts aren't good. If you feel good, then your thoughts are good. And that is our telltale. And that really helped me a lot. And you talked about, and I'm gonna circle back about taking care of yourself, and how when you took care of yourself, you were a happier person. You didn't care if your mom asked for a favor because you weren't so angry about it. Like, oh yeah, I'll do her a favor. And what about me? Filling your own cup, because if you don't fill your own cup, as you see, you have nothing to give to people. So if you have an empty cup and your mom asks for a favor, you have nothing to give her, and you have that negative emotion because you're drained. You have that low frequency, right? Whereas if you if you do things for yourself and you are satisfied and fulfilled yourself, you have a full cup and you want to give out because you're overflowing now. And you're like, yes, let's pour. You're in that higher frequency. You're in that self-love. And that's where the beauty happens, when you can give back because you give to yourself first. And I think that we're taught that that's selfish.
Right. And selfishness is different. There's a lot in the new age world that people put down the ego. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Anita Moorjani. She had a near-death experience, and Wayne Dyer, you've probably heard of Wayne Dyer.
Yes.
He reached out to her in a beautiful story about how they were able to connect. But when I heard her speak, she talked about the ego, and she talked about it as a dial on the radio, and there's nothing wrong with it turned up all the way if you've got the compassion dial up too. So when you say you want to impact people and you have a big dream and a big vision, some people could look at that as ego, but it's not, because your compassion is all the way up. And the self-care is very similar, okay? When you are taking care of yourself, that isn't selfish. That's giving you more energy, more ability to help others. Is helping others selfish? That's what we're here for. Deepak Chopra says that. Why are we here on earth? To help others.
Yes. I love that analogy with the compassion dial. Yes. Yeah, because I usually refer to it as the intention behind things, but when you have good intentions, but that compassion dial, that's really beautiful. And that does make all the world of difference.
She's very cool. You'd love her.
Yes. Awesome.
She was dying. And when she went to the other side, she talked to her dad who had passed, and she came back, and, it was, quote, a miracle. But, she was talking. It was the same time I heard Dr. Lipton. She was talking on stage, and she says, I'm going to say something now, and I know Wayne's not going to like it. And the lights went out. And she goes, oh, that's Wayne. He likes to play with me. And she was talking about the ego at that point, because it was her belief that the ego's not the maniac. It's, like you say, intention. Like if you are doing something to be self-aggrandizing or to manipulate other people, if that ego drive to do that would not be good. But if you are wanting to help people and to be compassionate, then go for it, ego.
Yes, absolutely. I really love that. And you have a book, correct, Patty? You said is it out yet?
No, it's just gone to the people making it look beautiful.
Oh, the beautifying stage.
Yes, it's called Positive Words of Influence, and the subtitle is The Art of Self-Talk.
I love that. Where, when it is out, where are people going to be able to find it?
It'll be we'll throw it up on Amazon, and people can find me at Inner Business Coaching. And
awesome.
You can go on that website and you can put your name and your email in there and reach out to me. And I love to meet people, and there's no obligation. I just love to talk with people and see what I can do for them if I can, or where I can steer them. I think because I've had a lot of experience in this world, and I really do mean a lot, because I've had over 100 distinct different jobs. I've never been fired. I've always been promoted to about as far as I could go wherever I was. I've had a range of experiences, and that is very helpful sometimes, because I can really relate to people. I've been there. I've been working for people that had me wanted me to, I was a bookkeeper. They wanted me to do something that I knew was illegal. I had to leave the job. I mean, there are times when you just have to say no.
Integrity. Be true to yourself. Absolutely. Never sacrifice self. That's
totally agree with you, Jessica.
Never sacrifice self. Yeah, Absolutely. So where can people find you again, Patty? Could you please repeat that?
Sure, it's Inner Business Coaching, or Patty Blakesley. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Right.
all those channels. But Patty at innerbusinesscoach.com is my email address.
Awesome.
And I will be getting that book out, and I'm going to create a course to go along with it, because what we say to ourselves is so powerful.
Mm, it really is. It definitely changed my world because for me, I say that, what you say to yourself feeds our spiritual. It really feeds our spiritual. And in order to find your optimal health, and health is more than just, going to the gym. Your health is your mental, your physical, in order to achieve that optimal health, you must have your physical and your spiritual in alignment. So words along with, your physical health is really, really big because they impact one another. How you feel as your body, if you don't take care of your body's going to feel crappy and achy. And then you're not going to have health, even if you have good, positive words. Or vice versa. Maybe your body feels good and you feel healthy, but your mind, is a bunch of negative words. You're not going to have your optimal health, and neither of them is really going to be that great without the other. So having that spiritual, those words, and having that physical, what we feed our bodies, how we move and all of that, having that in alignment is really, really huge, because that is the makeup of who we are. It's the combination of both. It's not one or the other. It's the combination of both.
Right. We really are amazing if you think about us physically, and, the whole emotions and the mental health, the physical health, the emotional health, the spiritual health. I
Mm.
mean, health is our wealth.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
Without
is.
health, I don't care how much money you have in the bank. If you don't have your health, you are not a happy camper.
It's so true. It is so true. I could not agree more. Patty, thank you so much for coming on. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
loved our conversation. You gave so many great perspectives, and I know.
I love talking with you, Jessica. I'm such a fan. And I just am so glad we were able to have this time together, and hopefully we can do it again.
I would love to do this again. Yes, we will make a date and do this again. And I look forward to the next time we are in person together as well. And we can connect, because yeah, I feel the same, Patty. You are a wonderful energy to be around. And I can't wait to just get into the depths of what I know we align on so well.
Yeah, so much.
Awesome. Thank
Definitely.
you so much, Patty.
All right.
Everyone, yes, everyone. Thank you for being on. If you liked what you heard today, click that button, whether it's subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on. If you want more of the Get What You Want series, definitely make sure you are locked into us. We appreciate you choosing your time to be with us today. Until next time, rock your day, love yourself today. Adios.